Whatever the sport,
Yeah.
that's a trend.
Oh, stop it. Stop
Back
it.
here with Antoine Walker. Talking some Sixers heat. So Philly needed a win to stay alive. You know what else Philly needed last night? James Harden to play basketball. They got neither. Just a brutal night from the Beard. 11 points from James Harden. Not 11 in a quarter, 11 in the whole game. And all in the first half. He only took 2 shots after the break. James Harden. Heat win, Sixers eliminated. Here was Harden after the loss.
We ran our offense, the ball, I feel like the ball moved and, it just didn't get back to me.
How much more aggressive?
Like I just said, we run our offense, the ball, just didn't get back to me.
Obviously, I'm sure, since we got him, everybody expected the Houston James Harden, but that's not who he is anymore. He's more of a playmaker. I thought, at times, could have been, as all of us, could have been more aggressive.
So, Antoine, we were happy to have you on this morning. You've been critical of Harden for years. Do you feel validated at all by what you saw this postseason out of James Harden?
Jenna, I'm not going to sit here and gloat and that I'm validated, but I actually want to speak some hard truth. And if you could put up the shot chart we put up, our shot chart right here, this speaks volumes to me. When you think about what the Sixers did to get him and to replace a guy and Ben Simmons who didn't want to shoot the basketball, and you go get a guy who's one of the all-time great scorers in the league, and he does this to you. He shoots the ball 2 times in a game 6 and at home, and a game that you need him to show up where your other superstar is not 100% and you have the ball in your hand. I think this shows everything. And it's bigger than just those 2 shots. I think about all the other things he did not do as far as being involved in this game, like boxing out P.J. Tucker several times, doing other things on the floor to make his team better, being a leader, being vocal, not walking up and down the court, not pouting. All those things play a part to a guy that you consider is a superstar in this league, and he didn't show up. And it's been countless times. This is not just today. Usually he plays a little harder, and for whatever reason, he didn't play hard. He didn't give no energy, no effort, and didn't play hard. And that's disturbing to me for a guy that's coming up in a contract year, a guy you gave up so much for to be a part of this team and to think that you guys were championship team. The first 5 games, everybody's on TV, they world beaters. James Harden's the best player that could have ever teamed up with Embiid. Now all of a sudden when it counts, when I said, and it's not me going at Harden, I just watch this guy's career. I watch situations and moments, and certain guys want these moments and certain guys don't want them. And it's obvious James Harden is not a guy that wants to be in these moments, to show up and when it counts. And to take only 9 shots in 43 minutes is really disturbing, Chris. You got to give a better effort than that. If it's like anybody else, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down shooting. If I'm 4 for 15, 4 for 25, I can take that. I can sleep at night. But to go 4 for 9 and not even give an effort to a team and guys you're trying to win a championship, it's just not right. And I don't know if he's lost a step because it's very difficult for him to get by people. He's not getting by people like he used to. And is that frustrating him? Miami Heat defense was good, but this is one of the best one-on-one players to ever play the game. And you telling me he can't get by anybody? So that's a problem too. So Harden is to take all the blame and responsibilities for this. You could blame Embiid a little bit because, obviously he could have been a little bit more dominant in the paint. And then Doc a little bit because he didn't make adjustments against their zone. But this is about Harden and Harden only.
Yeah, I agree with your blame pie, Twan. And he's definitely lost a step. There's no doubt. But he has the skills. He has the basketball IQ to, even if he loses a little speed, be effective. And he has the skills and IQ to walk that line between playmaking and getting everybody else involved and getting his own offense off. So I don't want to hear the ball never got back to me. I got to say this. I don't think James Harden really is that driven to win a championship. Sure, he'd like one. Yeah, of course. But is it what drives him in the game of basketball? I don't think so. And I think there are people like that in every field of endeavor. They don't have to win a Pulitzer. They don't have to win an Emmy or an Oscar. They don't have to be the CEO of the company. They're content with where they are, maybe making a good amount of money. And Harden, I think, look, he's got all the money in the world he could hope for. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's a top 75 player, and rightly so. And his legacy as a great individual basketball player is set. I think that's enough for him. I really do. And so I think when Twan, is you've won a championship. You know how hard that is. You know how hard it is to face the same team 7 straight games. You know how difficult that is physically and mentally. And I think when the going really gets tough, Nick, when you really got to push it hard to win a championship, Harden doesn't want that. I think Harden-Wiles just wants to go out and hoop. Just go out and do my thing, get my 30, have fun.
Not really.
With that hoop, make my money. And I don't think he's driven like that to win a title. And that's why I think he has games like last night in big moments.
I mean, the funniest part of your bit, Broussard, is that you gave us a little window into your career where you had worked with somebody who had Pulitzer potential in them, but they didn't have the drive. Come on, Steve. This was a good article. But do you want a Pulitzer or not? Okay. I know we're talking about Harden being on the offensive side struggling. Don't forget, also didn't give any effort on the defensive side. Here's Jimmy Butler grabbing an offensive rebound. Sure, just rush it in, grab it, thanks. Harden does nothing. Jimmy hits the shot and then eventually says, wow. Not only that, Jimmy was shocked by Harden's effort, also shocked by the way his career and tenure in Philadelphia ended, and he addressed it after the game, not once but twice. Take a listen.
That I love him. I'm proud of him. Yes. I still wish I was on this team. I definitely love the Miami Heat, though, man. I'm glad that I'm here, but I got so much respect and love for Joel Embiid.
Tobias Harris over me?
Oof. Wild. I thought it was a startling juxtaposition of a guy who is a paramount playoff performer, has got all the heart and energy and drive compared to him knocking out Harden. I just thought it was an interesting juxtaposition in addressing the fact that he wanted to be on that team. What was your read on it?
True. Listen, the Tobias Harris over me thing is a little unfair to Tobias. It was really, and now Philly's got to look back and say, you got to be kidding me. It was really a Ben Simmons over Jimmy thing. Because they had Jimmy, Tobias, and Ben. They're going to give 2 of them maxes. And Ben and Jimmy butted heads. Jimmy saw something earlier than other people, so they decided to keep Ben plus Tobias. They'd like to have that back. But what I thought about watching that, because Jimmy Butler does just keep upping his game. Every stat gets better in the postseason. And it's year in, year out, basically. Everyone's like, oh, the bubble doesn't count, the bubble. Maybe the Heat made the finals in the bubble because they have Jimmy Butler and because he was just the best player in those Eastern Conference playoffs. But it is, for the podcast I do, I'm doing the 50 best players of the last 50 years. And spoiler alert, Harden's on there, and Harden's in the top 30. He's won an MVP. He has 6 top 5s. His regular season numbers are unbelievable. I did not even consider Jimmy Butler as an honorable mention. Like, he's not a guy you're like, oh, he's one of the greatest players, of ever, much less of his generation, any of it. But in the postseason, when it matters, is there a single team in the league that would rather have James Harden, even apex James Harden, to Jimmy Butler the last few years?
No.
Even when James Harden was winning MVPs, he wasn't doing this. It's like they're the reverse, the negatives of each other, the bizarro versions, as Jenna would say. One guy is unbelievable in the regular season and fades incredibly in the postseason. The other guy is okay in the regular season and then steps up when it matters most in the postseason. Jimmy